ownership of this station.
But it should.
It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry and Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guys that will put your fears behind you are on the air now. They're taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Here's Tom and Jason.
Hot mics.
Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, Tom Perry, Right Path Real Estate. Theme of today's show. I've been getting a lot of tax questions the last couple of days. I am not a CPA. I'm not an attorney.
You don't even play. You don't even pretend to be Michael Plax.
I don't intend to be I'm not even Michael Plax. I am just a guy who pays too much in taxes. And if you're looking at both the Senate and the House bill, I read a little article this morning. Single-family investors, now both bills conflict, and they conflict in some pretty major ways. I posted on my Facebook page that article. I think it's a fantastic article. Highly recommend you read it. Here's what I'll tell you. On the single-family side, it could go one of two ways. It could be really great for real estate investors, or it could go horribly wrong. Now, one thing I do know is that Congress has a whole bunch of real estate investors in it, and there happens to be a guy in the White House that's bought a couple of deals here and there.
You got a little bit here and there.
So I can't imagine it would end up being detrimental for investors. However, I will tell you this. If that Senate bill passes, I think you're going to see a reckoning in commercial real estate like we saw in the 80s. I think it's going to be ugly, especially for the folks that have bought these 6, 7, 8 cap Class C assets over the last 5 years. I think it's going to be very ugly for them. But I don't want to get into that. If you guys want to go read that article, you can go to facebook.com/Jason Bible. If you search my name in Houston, it should come right up. The article, it should be the last post I posted, if I remember. I did it this morning. So, fascinating post. But today on the show, we're going to talk about the cost of not. What's it cost not to do something? Everyone always asks the question, hey, what's it cost to go to the weekend retreat? What's it cost to go to college? What's it cost to invest? What's it cost to do these things? And one of the things I always like to say is, what does it cost not to do those things? What's the cost of not going to college? What's the cost of not investing in yourself to build a real estate business, to build a real estate investment portfolio? So what is the cost of not? That's the theme of today's show.
Yeah, a lot of people, they take on... They can calculate what their return is potentially. They can't calculate the risk as accurately oftentimes. But there is always a choice, an A-B choice. Most of the time people think that the status quo is really what the cost of not doing it, right? I mean, things will stay the same. Things just won't get better. Mm-hmm. And for some people, that's okay, I guess. But... it's one of the questions that people used to ask. I used to be involved in a direct sales company, in fact, still am, that's a nutrition vitamin company. And people used to ask, well, what's the cost of the vitamins? And my answer to that was, because it was really meant to get them to think a little bit deeper than just what the price is, really, because that's what they're asking. What's the price? And I said, well, you mean the cost if you take them or if you don't take them? Mm-hmm. Because, there's some health costs when people don't swallow good nutrition. Let's face it. I mean, I don't think it's up for debate that, although doctors will tell you, if you just, eat a typical American diet, you're going to get all the food, nutrition that you need, just from the food that you eat, right? But most people don't eat a well-balanced, the right grains, the right fruits and vegetables, all those kind of things. They eat a really, high sugar diet, essentially. And it's pounds and pounds and pounds of sugar on an annual basis. And it leads to all the major health issues that you have in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. And, heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, all those kind of things. And that has serious consequences. So back to the same thing is most people spend more time planning their annual family vacation, if they can afford to go on that, then they spend really planning out their financial future. And it's one thing to sit down and plan out long term, but it's another thing. It's kind of like, hey, if you really had to come up with, an extra $500 a month, could you do that consistently and predictably over the long haul? And most people don't even have, short of going and getting, a greeter job at Walmart or something like that, which sounds really easy on the surface until you go and try and do it and realize, hey, there's actually competition for that spot, right?
This sounds like personal experience. Have you been applying for greeter jobs at Walmart?
I haven't. No, but you realize that if it were that, because have you ever seen a young person as a greeter?
No.
No, right. So you're competing against Gramps, right?
Yeah.
Or Grandma, So yeah, I mean, that's not as easy as it sounds. So, and most people, it's crazy because when you look at the work ethic that we had, Tom Brokaw, I guess, wrote the Greatest Generation book, right? About the World War II generation that came back and really, created, the lifestyle in the country that we have thanks to their work ethic and all of that. And, back in the day, if you will, I mean, people used to work 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And nowadays people, it's almost like they're whining about a 40-hour work week, right?
Yeah.
And so, there's all different paths to get out of situations that you're in. And, I was talking with somebody last night just about how much of a difference the mindset makes. That, most people won't change until the pain of changing is smaller than the pain of staying the same. The pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of change, right? Because there's a pain in changing things. But... and this person, they're stuck in a place in their life. They're not happy with where they are. And they're like, and they were asking, hey, I just can't figure out why I can't make this change. And I'm like, well, because the pain of staying the same is less than the pain of changing. And you stop and think about it. There's plenty of stories in our society about people that grew up in an impoverished, household, right? Mm-hmm. And the pain of staying in that environment was so great that they had to change, do whatever it took to get out of that, right?
Right.
But then also there's other families that generation after generation after generation, they've just become comfortable with that's their lot in life. And one of the great things about the American society is you have the ability, there's not a caste system like there is in India where you're born in a particular station in life. People in America, you start talking about that and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's everybody realizes this is the land of opportunity. It's why people get sacrifice so much to get here. And yet people that are born here, they just the number one thing that gets in the way of a great life is a good one. I had that conversation with a guy up in Dallas, and he was really struggling with what to do next. And I said, your biggest problem is you've got a really good life, and you're not gonna be willing to make the changes necessary to make your life great, because it's not small changes to go from good to great, because all the things that you're doing on a daily basis have gotten you to good. But it's like a doctor deciding that in order to have a great life, he has to become an attorney. That's not a small change to go from being a doctor to being an attorney. That is a massive change, especially while he's practicing medicine. I mean, there's not many people that go to law school while they're practicing medicine, right? So it would take giving up medicine, or vice versa. Somebody that decides that they're an attorney and they want to give up, they have a successful practice, but in order to get to great, they wanted to be a doctor, right? I mean, it's that monumental for most people to go from good to great. And
what I see in the real estate space is you'll get folks that, I'd like to get in real estate, and they don't have a plan B and they get laid off. And now I want to be in real estate. And it's like, okay, but I mean, you really have to make it, right? I mean, you really have to make it.
Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, start investing now. Start investing in you. Start investing in your future now, before all that bad stuff happens, right? Have a backup plan. Have a plan B.
Yeah.
Actually have a plan B and a plan C if those things don't work out. So that's one of the big things I see is that, I'll get to it sometime. And then the problem is sometime is too late.
Right. Yeah.
And we're looking at opportunities now that, we think this is the time to get into single family real estate. It's going to go down as one of those times like 2007 and 2008 is. We've got these things are easy to finance. They're easy to manage. You've got You've got a whole team up here at Right Path. I mean, it's like now is the time to really go all in on real estate.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Hey, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. What'd you say, Nikki?
2 minutes.
All right, 2 minutes. Got it. So yeah, that's the number one thing that I see. Now, the other thing is I was at a meeting last night, and there are ways that you can get started with no money, no job, no credit. In building a business, I think it's hard to start real estate as a business with no money, no job, no credit. Now, can it be done? Yes. Are there stories of gurus, even local gurus, that have done it? Yes, there are. However, they haven't done it recently, right? And I think that the environment is maybe a little bit tougher today than it was maybe like 10 or 12 years ago when some of these guys were getting started. And because I think it's a more competitive marketplace now. I think there's more people as a result of the HGTV shows, things like that. I think it's slightly more competitive. But is it impossible? No, I don't think it is. But here's what I see is there are people out there that don't feel safe and secure in the job that they have right now long term. And they have some time where they can make some decisions now, especially now's the end of the year, right? Now's the time a lot of people make decisions. What do they want 2018 to look like? So there are some people that can start making some decisions now to put a better plan for 2018 in place, to be able to say, hey, you know what? If I could buy, you don't even have to set a huge goal. Imagine if somebody just bought 4 houses a year, just one every 90 days. You find the house the first month, you close on it the second month, you rehab it the third month, you get a tenant in there, and then repeat the same thing the second quarter. Imagine you did that for 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, where you would be 10 years from now would be a monumental difference in terms of trajectory. We'll talk more about this on the other side of the break. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Hey, good morning, Ginger. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Mark. Love the backdrop. Yeah, it is cold. Hey, good morning, Ray. Wow, Catherine, good morning. What's up?
Up to 100% financing
Patrick,
still
Daniel,
available. You just have to
Yolanda,
know where to
good
look.
morning.
Look no further than
Tiger,
Noble
good morning.
Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003.
Yeah, you know what I love about
Noble
the mountains
Mortgage
is how
offers
clear
up
the
to
sky
100%
is. There's, it's
financing
not
to
it's not a
investors
foggy
that
day.
covers purchase,
Not a lot of air
repairs,
pollution.
and
Yeah.
closing costs.
Sometimes around the mountains you
In
get
addition to
some air
private
pollution.
money, Noble
They
Mortgage
get caught
offers
by the
conventional
mountains.
loans, FHA, and
That's
even
Everest.
no-income
Yeah.
documentation loans for both residential.
All right, so I
and
guess I
commercial
can't do
properties.
Thursday night.
Call
Are
and
you
ask
available
about our
Thursday
5-point
night?
Guarantee, which includes free
Yeah.
pre-qualifications within 2 business
What's
days.
going on Thursday?
Call
Thursday.
713-680-8100
Yeah, I can do Thursday.
or
Yeah, it
visit
looks like
noblemoney.com.
For base camp?
That's
Yeah, I thought his
noblemoney.com.
musical was
Our team
another-
has over 50 years experience
so I gotta be
in
in
the
a
mortgage
musical.
industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Call Jason or Tom at 713-785-1817 or look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mics.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Tom Perry, Right Path Real Estate. We're talking about the cost of not today. And that is not, really it's not taking action. I was thinking about this earlier today. And I'm trying to think if there's any time in your life where it's detrimental to take too much action. And I can't really think of one where you just go all in. Of course, you have to, granted, you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Aside from that, in fact, anytime I look at regrets that I've had, it was because I didn't take action soon enough.
The only thing that I can think, we have Everest in the background today. You know, there are some people that take too much action. They're not physically prepared to climb Everest, and they die up there.
Yeah,
they're not really well enough trained. They take too much action.
Mm-hmm.
There are some dead bodies up there.
Yeah,
and so there are some casualties. I think they took too much action. But short of that, I mean, it's going to be. I don't know of anybody that's died doing real estate. Not directly from doing real estate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Is that? I guess if a house collapsed on them.
But could you die from doing too much real estate? Probably not. Not
probably
from
not.
doing too many deals.
Yeah.
Not from doing too many deals.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying. It just hadn't happened yet.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So Jew Whitaker said, "Yeah, good morning, guys. Wow, Tom, you're right. 4 rentals a year for 10 years would definitely be life changing. Yeah, I mean it's, we bought 67 houses. Now, not all for rentals, but we've bought 67 houses really our first full year in business. So to do 40 over 10 years, that's not monumental. I mean, it's really, you could set up almost like a drip 401k plan for doing that, and you realize where the average American retires. And so even if somebody started at 40 years old, and because I wish I did, it started at 40 buying one rental house a quarter. Mm-hmm. And then, in 10 years at 50, I mean, if you had $300 a month positive cash flow, it would be pretty conservative on that. Times 40 houses, you have $12,000 a month passive coming in. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty astonishing.
Not bad.
Then imagine if you could take all your excess rent on a monthly basis just for the next 10 years, for example, and you take that extra $12,000 a month passive income and you put it all towards that first house, because you would have been paying on the mortgage on that first house and the second house, the third house, and the fourth house for 9 years already, right? So you don't have a whole lot left. So take that $12,000 a month extra, put it towards that first house mortgage, get the first house paid off, then the second, then the third, then the fourth. By the time, imagine having 40 paid off houses in 20 years and you got $40,000 a month passive coming in. Do you realize how many seniors live on way less than, it's like 99% live on less than $40,000 a month, right?
I was going to look and see. I've got an amortization schedule, of course, because why wouldn't I have one of those sitting in front of me?
Of course.
On a $100,000 house, year 10, which would be payment $120.
Yeah.
They would owe $81,000 left on the mortgage.
So in about so if $12,000 a month going towards that extra house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because if you were just living off the extra income, and that would be the real discipline, is not to live on that extra $12,000 a
Mm-hmm.
month, not to increase your lifestyle. So if you had $12,000 a month coming in, put that on. So just $81,000 take you about $60,000 is 5 months, so 72 and 6, so 7 months. That house will be paid off.
9 months. If you do it starting at $100,000, put $12,000 a month towards it. You pay it off in 9
but
months.
you'd have, if you didn't start that process till you got all 40 houses, right? But you're right. If you put the excess income,
7 months at $80,000.
yeah, right.
And then you just start. It's the old Dave Ramsey debt snowball, right?
Yeah, right.
It's the same thing. It's these folks that go out and re-leverage and re-leverage and re-leverage and re-leverage and re-leverage. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. We've met so many people that when the market changes, have gotten just absolutely clobbered because they leverage. You know, essentially they refinance, got into multifamily, refi, and then market change. Their margins are too thin, like what may happen with this tax thing. I'm predicting if it swings towards the Senate bill, I think you're going to see some commercial real estate just go right back to the bank. There's just not enough margin in these things. So what's the greatest hedge against changes in a market? It's not having debt, but you've got to acquire these things with debt in the beginning, right?
Right.
But put your cash for good times against the house.
Right.
One of the wisest things I had ever heard from a coach I had early on, we had a lot of excess cash just sitting in our checking account. She said, why don't you just use the houses as a savings account? And I thought, that's brilliant. Cash flowing houses, not flip properties.
Right, of course.
Sometimes I talk about ROI, like your ROI should be infinite. And that's true for single family flips. For rentals, you can have some money in the deal. It's no big deal because it cash flows every month. So who cares, right? So, you know, when you look at different scenarios as markets change.
Let me just explain that because you went over that really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And I know that there's some beginner real estate investors or some people may not be in real estate at all. So imagine, you know, if let's say you have an extra $40,000 sitting in your checking account. So what if instead you put that in a savings account? You know, you don't have let's say you locked it up in a CD for let's say 5 years. So if in an emergency you could get it out, but you're going to pay a penalty. So you're going to want to fight not to do that just for giggles and grins. But you might get less than 1% on that. So $40,000 is going to earn you, $400 a year in terms of interest. So if instead, you know, with $10,000 out of pocket, you could have 4 rental properties with $10,000 out of pocket relatively easy. I mean, that wouldn't be a stretch to do that. And if you had $400 a month per property, let's say even lower than that, $300 a month, positive cash flow coming per house, you'd have $1,200 a month coming in on that same $40,000 of leverage. Now it's $1,200 a month $1,200 a month versus $400 a year in interest. So yeah, I mean, would you be willing to park that for 5 years for $1,200, which is $1,200 a month is $14,400 a year, and you get some huge tax advantages because you get depreciation on the property, you get some to write off against, you get the part of that that payment that's going to be made by your tenant every month. You know, you're going to be paying your mortgage, which is going to cover your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So you get to deduct your insurance as an expense against that income. You get to deduct the interest. You get to deduct the taxes that you pay on the property, all of those kind of things. So the leftover is that $400 or $300 a month cash flow is typically wiped out by the depreciation.
Yeah.
Because you get to write off, essentially, I think it's 28 and a half years on the entire property.
It depends on your income and all that other stuff. There's a whole bunch of other caveats there. But at the end of the day, you've got to have a plan B. You know, it's fascinating. You even folks who are high income earners, at some point, you know, what happens when that job disappears? What do you do next?
Yeah.
I mean, and if you look at most
off the resume.
Most of us that are high income earners, we're specialized in certain areas, right? Yeah. And what if that field doesn't exist anymore? I can tell you a lot of people think, oh, it's because I got a college degree and I'm such and such this special certification and all that. And they're pumping those people out in places like India. If you don't think your company's going to outsource all of your high-speed programming overseas, that's exactly what's going to happen. companies are rewarded based on their profit, and the cost of people is one of those big expenses. So you've got to have a plan B just in case.
Yeah. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. So how would you suggest, here's what I recognize is that, a Right Path didn't exist when you and I first got started. And if it had, I'm not disappointed with where we are today, but we would be much further along if we'd have taken a shortcut. So how would you recommend a brand new person get started if they were starting today, knowing what you know now? If you were starting over, what would you do?
Well, I'd go to our free event.
Oh,
that's not
pitch.
A plug. Yeah, that's not a ho. But I'll tell you what, I'd apply. We don't take everybody. Like I said, our acceptance rate's about 10% into our base camp program. So apply to our base camp program, and I'll tell you, if you get in, what I would do is I would buy rentals like they were going out of style. It's just, I think
you'd buy them like bell bottoms.
That's right. Yeah, just buy as many rental properties as you can get your hands on, and it's hard to. If there's anything you can do in real estate that's really easy to do, I think rental properties are the easiest. I mean, wholesaling from a transaction standpoint is pretty easy, but from a part-time investor building wealth and income, rental properties are super easy. And we talk about that at our weekend retreat. So I'd attend our Thursday night. We got a free event. It's our Introduction to Income and Wealth workshop. Come on out to that event. We'll talk about rental properties. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And then attend our weekend retreat. We've got one coming up the week December 15th through the 17th. And in that 3-day event, Tom and I talk about how to build income and wealth with real estate, with flipping houses, wholesaling houses, renting houses out, and acting as a lender, as the bank. And here's what I can tell you. People have been through other coaching programs, spent bukus of dollars with other real estate coaches, and they've gotten more out of the weekend retreat than they have spending hundreds of thousands of dollars somewhere else. So I'm telling you, that weekend retreat is just, it's all the things that we learned distilled down to the bare essentials, what you need to know that weekend to implement and start a real estate business by Monday. I mean, it's actionable stuff. It's not mindset, run around a room, singing and clapping. Woo! This is a hardcore training, and it's training on how to be a professional investor. When we get back from the break, we'll talk more about our workshop and today's theme of the show, the cost of not. It's Jason Bible, Tom Perry at Right Path Real Estate.
Mike's off.
What do you mean?
Are small returns getting in the way of your retirement
I
plan?
like the big
Why
bounce
settle
sound.
for
That big
mediocre
band
results?
sound.
There's a better place to invest. The experts agree.
Sounds classy.
Single-family real estate is one of the best investments you can make. Find out how.
Yeah, thanks,
JB
Mark.
Fund Services offers
And
a
Farrell
9%
will
return
answer your
on up to a 50%
question when we get back from the
Call us today
break.
at 281-915-0906 or visit our website, jbfundservices.com. That's 281-915-0906.
Brent, you're funny.
This investment is offered to accredited investors.
As a real estate investor, you rely on your property inspector to determine the current condition of the home and your potential
What?
return on investment from
Ah.
an investor's point of view. Principal Inspections was founded by investor Jeremy Humphrey to do just that. Principal Inspections works from the investor's point of view, providing affordable, fast, quality inspections with information pertinent to investors while not clouding the report with unnecessary details. Principal Inspections will save you time and money. Call Principal Inspections 832-684-5516 or online at principalinspections.com. License number 21264.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Here we go. Oh,
Taxes.
yeah, I could see a problem
Just the
here.
sound of that word makes people cringe. At Anderson Advisors, we provide tax reduction through asset protection for real estate investors throughout the country. Our unique philosophy has CPAs, lawyers, bookkeepers, and estate planners with one common goal, helping you, the real estate investor. Check us out today at AndersonAdvisors.com. And don't forget to tell us you heard about us at Right Path Real Estate.
Do you have cracks in your brick, doors that stick, or sheetrock that's coming apart? Then you may have foundation movement.
Oh, this is
Due
December,
to our expansive
right?
soils in the Houston area,
It is
it's probably
December,
not a
yeah.
question of if you have movement, but when. Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009 and has completed over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in the business of repairing foundations or selling you unnecessary peer work, but we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each of our files is reviewed by a licensed engineer. Remember to check before ever repair. Call 346-702-3825. That's 346-702-3825. Or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com. That's foundationcheck.com.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could
That's a
use
lot of money.
someone's IRA
24 trillion.
to fund all of your
11
bills.
gajillion dollars.
You can.
$24 trillion
Quest
in
IRA is
retirement
based
accounts.
locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA,
So you know what we could do is we could take all the retirement accounts and pay off the national debt.
Yes.
Promissory
That's
notes,
why
private entities,
when we started having
and
that
much more.
conversation about
Yeah,
the
right.
national debt and all that stuff, I'm like, it doesn't really matter
IRAs
because
to
the
fund
American
real estate
people
deals
can
all
bail the
over the
government out.
country.
Right.
We
if we
don't
had
sell
to.
any investments or give
30
advice.
seconds.
However, we do hold free networking
So
events,
that's
weekly educational
RSVP to
classes, and free
attendees.
Yeah.
consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com
And it's
or
by
call us at
retreat.
1-855-FUN-IRAs to tap into the $24
So the December
trillion
numbers will be for
in
January,
retirement
right?
accounts
Mhm,
in the
mhm.
U.S. Call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
This is Business 1110.
Call Jason or Tom at 713-785-1817 or look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathReal
Hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. People can call in, or if you want to go to facebook.com, like our page, Right Path Real Estate, you'll get a notification whenever we go live, which is every day, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Yes, it's an everyday radio show. So we're also live on AM 1110 KTEK, which is Biz Radio 1110 KTEK. You can listen to those podcasts. They're all saved there. We're also on iTunes, iHeart. You can go to rightpathrealestate.com, see all the places that you can listen to us. We have people listening nationwide. So good morning, Marlon. So Farrah asked a question. So if we don't have W-2 income, should we look at hard money to finance rentals? So most people, what they're doing is they're buying the property at a discount because it needs work, and they're rolling in the purchase and the rehab into the hard money loan on the front end, and then they're refinancing out of that hard money loan. Now, I know that there's at least one lender that's on our vendor list that has a 2-year hard money loan that's strictly an asset-based loan that gives you some time. You know, there's in fact, Anderson Consulting, when they're on the radio, and you can go back and listen to the last time, because just search through our Facebook pages and see the last time. I think it was Thursday of last week or maybe Tuesday of last week. That was one of the things that we talk about, is that it's important that you have your financial house in order, because there's a three-legged stool that you're really trying to make stable. And, you know, the more you get out of balance in one area, you're sacrificing some other areas. So people obviously want to minimize their tax burden. But a lot of self-employed people do that at the expense of being bankable. So you can write off so much in terms of expenses by having your own business, things like that. You pay almost zero taxes because it looks like you have no income. But when you have no income, then you're not bankable. So there's this line that you want to pay enough taxes, show enough income that you become bankable. But then there's also this liability issue as well. So there's liability, bankability, and then your tax burden. So that's the three-legged stool. Anderson Consulting, we'll talk a lot about that. In fact, they've got a class that's coming up as well. So every situation is a little bit different. Depends on what state you're in. But what I'll tell you is this: is that the underwriting that banks go through in order to underwrite loans, that pendulum after the crash of 2008, which resulted in all of the rules and regulations changing and what we have now in terms from it went ultra conservative. We had really, really loose underwriting where no job, no income, no credit. You could just state that you were a gazillionaire and nobody needed to check on it. But one of the advantages that you have with real estate is that it's a self-collateralizing asset. So that it's not like you're trying to open up a flower shop or something like that, which the collateral itself is could be dead in 2 weeks, right? And so it's not like you're trying to do that, but you're able to use the real estate as collateral itself, and so your bankability is a portion of it, but it's becoming less and less of an issue as the underwriting, what I'll say, constraints are being lightened. You seem to be deep in thought.
Yeah, that was a really convoluted way to explain it. I was just trying to follow.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. You've got to have a loan to purchase and rehab the property. That's what you got to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not a traditional Fannie Mae loan like what you bought your house with. So there are hard money lenders out there that will lend you the purchase price and the rehab. And then at some point in the future, once that house has been rehabbed, you are going to refinance that property into permanent financing. For most people, that's a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. That's what most people do. Now, if you don't have any W-2 income, that creates some challenges, and everybody's situation is different when it comes to the financing side of things. So
it's not necessarily a deal killer.
No, it's not. No, not at all.
Right. Although 2 years ago it was definitely a deal killer, wouldn't you say? That
well, you can always partner. You
Yeah.
can always partner with somebody who's
Right.
who's going to bring the credit and the cash to do it.
Right.
It just made it a lot harder.
But there are different products out there now. There's some products that go 2 years. There are some products that are asset based only. They go 25 years. Have a big upfront in terms of points, but the rates are relatively reasonable. They're not the most competitive, but if you don't have another long term financing source, it's a great alternative. So there are products out there that are strictly asset based only.
Yeah, and well. Yeah, there's some that are asset based. Here's the problem when we get into lending. Here is my when I sit down and when someone says asset based lending, when I think asset based lending, what I really think is you will never sign a personal guarantee. I mean, because otherwise you're then guaranteeing the performance of that asset,
absolutely, right?
So truthfully, there's really no 100% asset based lenders out there, right? Because they want to make sure you can still write a check. So if you've got folks that are that don't have any money, their credit is not great, there's really not a product out there for that person.
Correct.
You've got to have some. You got to have some money. You got to have some what they call reserves, and then your credit has got to be decent. So otherwise, if you're acquiring rental properties, the only other way to do it is in partnerships.
Correct.
So there are some asset-based lenders, but I'll tell you, if you are unemployed, don't have income, don't have any, assets to really speak of, and then you don't have great credit, rental properties is not for you. One of the things, and Tom, you've said it best, rental properties, although they can grow your wealth, they're really a store of wealth.
Correct.
That's really what they are. And because they're a store of wealth, you have to what? You have to have wealth to begin with,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely, sure.
You got to have some wealth to begin with. Or somebody else's wealth, right? Like, let's say I'm the guy that brings the deal and Tom's the guy that brings the money and the credit and the financing and all that. We're going to put Tom's money and credit and all that into the deal, and I'm going to go find the deals.
Right.
That starts making a lot of sense. But because there's got to be some wealth somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
And so acquiring that wealth and putting it into a deal is actually how you generate a return. And so that is probably the easiest way I can explain it for somebody who doesn't fit the traditional W-2 mold. Like, I've got a job that I've been at for 25 years and, a bank will give me all the money they want, right? So if you are outside of that box, it starts to get a little more challenging. However, it's not like it was a few years ago where that person was like DOA, right? I mean, they couldn't do anything as it relates to long-term buy and holds unless they were wholesaling or flipping those properties. So that's the challenge in rental properties. When people talk about, I'm slowly changing my tune on this one, and I hesitate to even mention it during the radio show because it's going to go over 90% of people's heads, but I'm going to do it anyways. Rental properties are not really real estate. Like, rental properties are finance and operations. Like, your financing really dictates how you're going to do that deal, right? And then the operations side is really picking the right tenant and ensuring that you are operating the assets according to the lease. So a lot of people think it's finding a good deal. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, finding a good deal is important, but really your back-end financing is what determines your cash flow on the deal, your exit strategy. I mean, it determines a lot of stuff. So if you've got a really great lender, and we have a fantastic lender inside our Base Camp group, and if you've got a really great property management company, it makes rental properties real easy to do. For example, you and I were chatting about this the other day. There are landlords that they can only get 70% financing, meaning if the house is worth all fixed up $100,000, the max they can get is $70,000, meaning every dollar above $70,000, the investor has to come out of pocket. Conversely, if you've got somebody on your team that can lend at 85%, meaning they will lend you $85,000 instead of $70,000, how many more houses can you buy with that extra $15,000 that you don't have to come out of pocket?
Well, if you start with $100,000 in savings, let's say you have $100,000 in a checking account or savings account or wherever it is in the stock market, maybe, or wherever that is. I mean, you could buy seven properties with $105,000, right?
Yeah.
And if you only had to come out of pocket $5,000, you could buy 20. If you could finance more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you come out of pocket
zero.
None,
Yeah.
Does it? That's why when that whole 70% less repairs rule doesn't really work in rental properties. Now, I do want to buy them as inexpensively as possible. However, the 70% rule is really derived from a banking formula. If you've got a bank that's backing you at 85%, let's say the house cash flows $300 a month, why wouldn't you buy the house? Oh, I'm buying it at 85%. Yeah, but you have no money in the deal.
Yeah.
It's all the bank's money, and it's cash flowing $300 a month. Who cares?
Yeah, sometimes people get caught up in the formulas and they lose track of the big picture because, an 85% deal on a $300,000 house, for example, where rents are less than 1% of the ARV of the house, would not make as much sense as an 85% deal on a property where the rents were at 1.3 or 1.4% of the ARV. So in other words, you have a $100,000 house that's renting for $1,300 or $1,400 a month. That makes more sense to do it 85% as opposed to the $300,000 house that you're going to, because the $300,000 house is going to be a negative cash flow.
It could, but we're also looking at properties right now that are $350,000, $400,000 all in. They were worth before the storm,
right?
$600,000, $800,000, and they cash flow $100, $200 a month.
But those aren't 85% deals now.
That's true.
That's the caveat.
That's the caveat.
That's the reason why they're able to be done. And so, Brent says, no credit or income. Ask the sellers to finance or sub to. Offer them a little interest on their money. Yes, that's definitely an arrow to have in your quiver. It's like a tool to have in your toolbox. But in that situation will fit in certain times. But it's hard to build a scalable marketing plan just on that one strategy. It's a great strategy to use, and you need to know how to be able to do it when it fits. But if I wanted to go out and buy 100 houses in the next 2 years, I wouldn't want to make sure that was my only strategy for being able to exit or get into the house. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817.
I was trying to get you off all the numbers and details, and then you said, yeah, some people lose sight of the big picture, and then you went into
the details.
Here's the 1% rule, and I'm like, oh, no, we're almost there.
Why settle for mediocre results? There's a better place to invest. The experts agree. Single-family
Hey
real
Brent,
estate
I'll tell
is
you the
the best
challenge with that
investment you can make.
with that
Find out
strategy.
how JB Fund Services
I
offers a 9%
don't like
preferred return
brand new
and up to
people doing
13%
sub 2
waterfall.
because a lot of times what
Call us
happens
today at
is
281
they don't have any money to begin with, and when that sub 2 house goes vacant, tenants tear it up, they don't have the cash to do it. The other challenge, and don't get me wrong, we've done seller finance at sub 2, so take that with a grain of salt. But here's the other problem: if you're trying to build a portfolio in a certain area, so you can get some efficiency in, let's say, owning in a handful of neighborhoods that are all in the same zip code, that's hard to do on owner finance at sub 2. Not impossible, but it gets to be a challenge. I'd rather see guys flipping wholesale before they go into owner finance or seller finance at sub 2.
Product for repair is a lot like a game of chance.
I like sub 2. We've done a handful of deals. The problem is that I never really find them with enough equity where it makes sense.
However, Foundation Check utilizes professional engineers to review all of our files to give you the best foundation analysis in today's market. Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825, or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
That's kind of crazy.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Hi, Clint Coons here, attorney and avid real estate investor. You know the greatest mistake real estate investors make is not understanding the potential liability that exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors in all 50 states. In addition to structuring your business for optimum protection, we provide guidance so you pay the least amount of taxes available under the law. We have 150 employees that range from lawyers to CPAs to estate planners and much more. Download our free ebook, The Invisible Investor Strategy, today at AndersonAdvisors.com or call for a free risk reduction analysis and financial blueprint at 800-706-4741. Anderson Business Advisors will help you keep more of what you earn. Call us today at 800-706-4741 and mention Right Path Real Estate.
As a real estate investor, you rely on your property
All right, 1 minute,
inspector
guys.
to determine
All
the
right.
current condition of the home and your potential.
Nikki, are you
return on
feeling okay?
investment. Principal
I'm sick.
inspections was
Uh-oh.
conducted by investor
Don't come to the
Jeremy
office.
Humphrey to do just
I'm coming.
that.
I said don't
Principal
come
inspections
here.
will give you
Wait.
I'll bring
turnkey inspections
sanitizer
that are
and
high
Lysol.
quality,
We ain't got time for getting sick.
focused on information pertinent to investors while not clouding the report with unnecessary details.
Yeah, see,
Founder
here's the
Jeremy
real
Humphrey
problem.
comes from a family of real estate
Yeah,
investors.
we're limited
He
in
started
what we can say on the air.
principal
Yeah.
inspections
Because we're still,
as an investor himself,
although we're not on the radio, we're
he
still on
experienced the
Facebook.
need for fast quality inspections with information directly pertaining to property condition
Yeah.
and potential resale value. Principal inspections will save you time and money. Call Principal Inspection.
we fixed the sales problem. We have a marketing problem.
5516. That's 832-684-5516. Or go online to principalinspections.com. That's principalinspections.com. License number 21264.
This is Business 1110.
Call Jason or Tom at
Hey, Richard.
713-785-1817 or look for us on Facebook Live
Kids.
at
That's so funny.
facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mic.
Welcome back, Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. So, yeah. So I guess the next thing we need to talk about is we've got an event coming up that's free to come to on Thursday night. It's going to start at 6:30.
Yep.
And networking is going to take place at 6:30. The event actually starts about 7. So you need to go to rightpathrealestate.com, register for the event. It's free to come to, but you do need to register. We're going to ask that you register in advance. And it's going to be at our offices here. 9999 Westheimer. Excuse me, 11451 Katy Freeway.
11451 Katy Freeway. And y'all can come see the studio where the magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll notice that these mountains here,
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest, we are on location.
Yeah,
right now.
Wait, let's see. Just climbing up the mountain.
Climbing up the mountain. There you go.
Like,
so you can see the studio.
Woo!
Yeah.
Plant my little flag. Woo!
So you can see the studio. You can see our digs here. You can poke your head in, look through the window.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll be doing our base camp meetings here too. So you'll see all our base camp folks all getting together and meeting and talking about deals and real estate and doing rehabs and all that other stuff. So, yeah, that'll be at our office this Thursday, starting at 6:30. For those of you who have been to our weekend retreat or members of Base Camp and Pathfinder, we have an event tonight at our office. It's our vendor night, so come on out and network with our vendors. I'm also going to introduce our new deal analyzer. So for those of you who have who are members of so for those of you who are members of our base camp group Pathfinder and or have been to one of our weekend retreats, I'm going to do a short presentation on the new deal analyzer and some changes we're seeing in single family financing as it relates to debt coverage service ratio, DSCR, essentially replacing ARV. That's really what's happening, and you're going to see that over the next 18 to 24 months. And we're ahead of the curve on this one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you the new tool that we're using to wholesale, flip, and buy rental properties with. And then it also is a great tool for private money lenders to be able to evaluate deals that they're looking at. So that'll be tonight. Then, of course, free event Thursday night and weekend retreat a week from Friday. So you got any closing comments there, Mr. Perry?
Yeah, just need to go to rightpathrealestate.com and then check out those events, get registered, because I know for sure that the weekend retreat's starting to fill up, and so definitely don't want to miss that. You know, it'd be great. I know that a lot of people try and slow down over the Christmas holidays, families coming in, but this is the best time to get started for the new year. What you do in the month of December is going to set up how successful your 2018 is going to be right off the start. If you're waiting until 2018 to start, setting up for 2018, you're already behind the curve. So you've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, and I'll be in tomorrow with Build Your Team Thursday.
Yep.
Excited about that. And then you'll be back on Friday with Investor Fridays.
Yeah, Real Estate Investor Fridays. So
yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, folks.
All right, gentlemen, have a good one.
All right.
All right, bye.